Michael Irvin, one of the most iconic wide receivers in NFL history and a central figure in the Dallas Cowboys' dominant 1990s dynasty, has lived a life filled with extraordinary highs, public scrutiny, personal struggles, and ongoing reinvention. And while sensational headlines often frame his story in dramatic or tragic terms, the real picture is far more complex, rooted in the reality of an athlete who rose from a difficult background to elite professional success and then spent decades navigating the challenges that come after fame. And his early life in Florida shaped much of his identity, as he grew up in a large family and found football as both an escape and a purpose, eventually becoming a standout at the University of Miami, a program known for producing intense, competitive players. And that environment prepared him for the NFL, where he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in 1988 and quickly became a defining force in their offense, earning the nickname the Playmaker. Because of his ability to change games with explosive catches, physical toughness, and emotional leadership. And during his career he helped the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls, playing alongside legends like Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith, forming one of the most famous offensive units in football history known as the Triplets. But his career was also cut short by a severe neck injury in 1999 that forced him into retirement earlier than expected, marking a painful turning point that many athletes face when their physical peak ends suddenly. And after football he transitioned into broadcasting, where his passionate personality and deep knowledge of the game made him a recognizable analyst on shows like NFL coverage programs, though his post-playing career has not been without controversy, including legal issues and allegations in later years that drew media attention and temporary professional consequences, which he has publicly addressed and denied in various contexts. And these moments added complexity to his public image, showing how former sports stars often remain under intense scrutiny long after their playing days are over. And beyond the headlines, Irvin has also spoken openly about personal growth, accountability, and the challenges of maintaining identity after leaving professional sports, particularly when fame, pressure, and public expectations remain constant even decades after retirement. And at around 60 years old, he represents a generation of athletes who experienced both the golden era of the NFL's expansion into global entertainment and the long-term emotional and physical impact of high-contact professional sports, including injuries, lifestyle adjustments, and the difficulty of transitioning into life beyond the field. And while some narratives online describe his life in overly dramatic or tragic terms, the fuller truth is that his story is not defined by a single downfall but by a long arc of achievement, controversy, resilience, and continued presence in sports media, where he remains a vocal and energetic commentator, still deeply connected to football culture and fan discussion. And his journey also reflects a broader reality about public figures whose lives are often simplified into headlines even when their experiences are layered and ongoing. And in Irvin's case, the heartbreaking framing often ignores the fact that he continues to work, engage with audiences, and reflect on both his successes and mistakes, showing that his life is still active rather than concluded. And ultimately his story is less about tragedy and more about the complicated path of an athlete who reached the highest level of professional sports, faced the physical and emotional consequences of that career, encountered public challenges afterward, and continues to navigate life in the spotlight with a mix of confidence, controversy, and endurance that has kept him relevant in the football world long after his playing days ended.